Hi everybody, welcome back to a new video. So ignore how weirdly puffy my hair is and the fact that I'm in a vest top. It's so humid. It's really great and it's not even sunny anymore, so it's not worthy of being hot, but it's so humid and I've been doing some housework today, so I'm a bit warm. But anyway, welcome to a new video. It's just me again. I'm going to be doing today the top 6, not even top, just the 6 films and the 6 TV shows that I have watched this month. So I try to watch a good range of things each month, just things that I find that I like get drawn into. Most of the time I like wake up in the morning. Sometimes I get up really early, like when Tom goes to work, and then I just sit and watch a film, just the first one that like drags me in. So I thought I would share this with you. I've been doing this for the past 3 months, so it's become a nice thing for the end of the month. So today is the 1st of July, so happy July everybody. But right, let's get straight into all the things that I have watched in June. Okay, so this month I thought I would start with the TV series because I've been starting with the films recently. So the first of the 6 TV shows I have been watching this month is Killing Eve. So I am so behind in the game with this. Like, as soon as I saw season 3 was out, I was like, oh my god, I've not even started it, so I have to start season 1. So I've been watching it on BBC iPlayer. I believe it's only on BBC iPlayer, but you can only watch BBC iPlayer in the UK, so any US viewers, I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I have watched the odd episode here and there, randomly when it's been on TV, when there's been nothing else on, or if I was at my mum and dad's and she was watching it, I would like see the random episode, but I've never watched it in its entirety, and I'm so glad I have because it obviously makes so much more sense. But I never understood why it was called Killing Eve, because one of the episodes I saw was in season 2, and they're like, if you've not watched it, I'm sorry, but they were like together, like doing something, like a job together, and I didn't understand because I thought they were like against each other, but it's so good. I'm really enjoying it. It's got a good storyline, and you never really know what's going to happen next because they're both so unpredictable. So it's really good in that sense where you don't just watch it and have it on in the background because you just can tell what's going to happen. You really do get drawn into it without even like knowing. Like, I watched like 5 episodes and it felt like I'd only watched 1, but I'd actually let 5 go by and it had been like 5 hours or 4.5 hours, and I was like, oh no, I need to go and do all these things I was going to do. So yeah, I would definitely say watch it, but I definitely say watch it if you have time to, because you will want to just watch it in a bulk, if that makes sense, because it's so, like, you can watch it episode by episode because you won't really lose the storyline if you have a gap in between, but you'll want to watch it all together just pure wanting to, because you'll want to know what's going to happen in the next episode. But I'm at the end of season 2 now. I'm just about to start season 3, and I would recommend it to anybody as long as you like obviously dramas and things like that, and there's a lot of blood and things like that in it, a lot of gore because it is a program about an assassin. But it is really good. I don't know anybody who hasn't heard of it, so it is living up to its name for me. Okay, the next 2 things I've watched were on Disney Plus. The first one is something I've been watching with Tom. Well, the 2 things on Disney Plus I've both been watching with Tom, but I've been watching it for the entirety of how long Disney Plus has been out, so since the 24th of March. And the first one is the One Day at Disney shorts. We love these. We watched like a good, I can't remember how many there is, there's like 30 of them, but we watched them at like chunks of 5 or 6 at a time, like just in between things. They're really short, so hence the name shorts, but they're like 6 minutes long, and they're just about different people who work for the Disney company, and there's so many things that you don't realise are in the Disney company. Like, they have anchors for like sports channels that tell you about their job, but the sports channel is owned by Disney. It's crazy. And there's like ranches and things that are owned by Disney, and you talk to the people who run the ranch, and it's really cool. Like, it's really interesting. If you like to know about all the little jobs and things that happen and all the backstage things that happen at Disney, this is definitely a good thing to watch if you haven't got a lot of time to just sit down and binge something. because you can watch them all in one go and it will just be like a running TV show, or you could just watch one a day or something like that, and it's really good. Like, I would definitely recommend them to everybody, as long as you love Disney obviously, but I would recommend it to everybody. And it's such a good thing for like different career ideas. Like, if you're not too sure what you want to do with your life, looking at all of these different things give you such a good idea of like different possibilities, if that makes sense. Like, even if you don't want to do their exact job, you might see something within that you're like, oh, I like the look of that. So yeah, I definitely recommend it to everyone. The second one of the two from Disney Plus is the Big Hero 6, the series. Me and Tom have been wanting to watch this forever. It was on Disney Channel before Disney Plus was a thing, but we don't have that, so we recorded it on Tom's sister's TV, and we just never got around to watching it. We watched like one episode when we went to look after the girls once, but you can't watch it because we were just spending time with them. So we're so glad it was on the Disney Plus list of things to watch, because we've just binged it. We've only watched season 1, so essentially it's just a TV program with 25-minute episodes just about the gang after the film. So it's after all of the madness has happened in Big Hero 6 and what they have done after that, and about them in school. So it's all the things that they have to do at school, but also being Big Hero 6 at the same time. It's really good. I really recommend it. Obviously it was made for children, but it's such a good adult series. There's so, like, not inside jokes, but such like adult concepts which would go over kids' heads but would still be like action to them. Whereas to us it's like, oh, it's so dark. But it's so good. It follows one bad guy, and then obviously Big Hero 6, and then some people at the school that they go to, and then all the things that lead up to everything being about that one bad guy, if that makes sense. The finale is amazing. We watched the final like 5 episodes all in one chunk because it was a big like roundup of the whole series, and it was so good. Like, I would definitely recommend it. If you liked the Big Hero 6 film, then you should watch the Big Hero 6 the series. Okay, the next 3 things are on Netflix. I'm going to follow on with the children program-ish things now. So the next thing that I have watched is Pokemon Sun and Moon. Me and Tom have been watching Pokemon just our entire lives. We watched all the Pokemon TV series. I watched them at home and he watched them at his house, obviously, when we were kids and things like that. And it's just not stopped. And we play all the games as well. So Pokemon is a massive part of our lives, not in the way that we do something with it every day, but just we watch the series, we play the games and all of that. But Sun and Moon is a really good series. It's not my favourite series. It's quite like, there is a lot of filler episodes and there's a lot of like random off storylines like that spring off and then nothing ever happens about them again. But it is a good series. Like, I would say if your kids like Pokemon as well, you could watch it all together. It is a good like family show as well, but there is a lot of more like, you have to get your head around it kind of things that happen in this series. But I really enjoy it either way. We haven't finished it yet. We're on season 3, I believe, of Ultra Sun and Moon, I think is season 3's name. But yeah, I like the characters in this one, and the new Pokemon are obviously in the game and it's cool. But yeah, it's not my favourite series, but I'd say if you like Pokemon, just watch them all. Okay, the last 2 things are more adult, like definitely adult. I wouldn't recommend children watching either of these. The first one is Snowpiercer. This is a 15, so I'd definitely not let children watch this under 15, especially because one of the things, I'm going to give you a spoiler if you watch it, not really a spoiler, but like one of the things that happens is that the punishment within the Snowpiercer is that people's arms get chopped off but not chopped off. So essentially the concept of Snowpiercer is that the earth is too cold. So essentially the concept of Snowpiercer is that the scientists have tried to cool down the earth from climate change, and it has just made the earth freeze instead. Like, they did it too much, so the whole earth is just frozen to like not livable, uninhabitable. So someone has made a big train called Snowpiercer that has 1001 carriages and is just holding all of these people. But the punishment was on the Snowpiercer, like I was saying, was that people's arms get chopped off, but it's not chopped off, it's put outside and frozen, and then it's brought back in and like hammered so that it just smashes. So yeah, I'd definitely say not for children, this one, but it is a good concept. The storyline has it runs through the whole thing, but there is a lot of like details about it that you don't want to miss and things like that. I don't know, I am enjoying it. I wouldn't like, I guess I would binge it, but I wouldn't say that it's a must watch. If you fancy something that's a bit darker and a bit more like in depth, then I would recommend it to you, but I wouldn't say you have to watch this TV show. It's really good though. It's essentially just about class and things like that, so people with money and people with none, and the concept of power and no power and things like that on board a train, essentially. It's a bit like Murder on the Orient Express to start with, but then that definitely just goes off the rails by like episode 5. But yeah, I would say watch it if you need something to watch, but I wouldn't urge you to watch it. Okay, and the last TV show I have watched this month is Hollywood, and I loved this. This is my favourite thing, and this is a thing that I would say you have to watch. If you haven't already watched it, watch it. It's again not really for children. It is about a prostitution ring essentially, but not really. It's like an escort ring within a car wash. So it's set back in, I can't remember when, let me find out. Okay, so it's set in the golden age of Hollywood film and TV, but post World War II. So it is after the war and after all the soldiers have come back from the war and are now looking for things to do. So the end of the 40s, starts 50s. And a lot of them wanted to be within film, television, things like that. So it's about people trying to get the jobs within the studios, but also about the people in the studios. It's set around one guy called Jack, and then he makes loads of friends with people, but he then starts working for this escort company within a, I can't remember what it's called, pumping station, what do we call it, a petrol station. So people come to the petrol station and say they want to go to Dreamland, and then off they go. So it's not for children really, but I would definitely say watch it if you love film. If you love film and TV, definitely watch it, because it's such an insight into what it used to be like. Obviously it's a fictional TV show, but it's like gives you an idea of what film and all of the stress that went into things like this, but all of the effort as well. But it's also then about the black community as well, so how people back in that day didn't want black screenwriters and black leading ladies. Like the girl who plays the main character in this, her character wasn't allowed to go into the Oscars until she was like pushed her way in, if that makes sense. So it's about how they combated that and things like that as well. So it is a really good TV show. I would definitely recommend it. I think there's 10 episodes, but I watched them all in one go. I binged it. I just sat, it was when I was knitting this blanket, and I literally just sat the whole day knitting this blanket watching these TV series, because I just couldn't stop. Like, I didn't want to stop watching it. I wanted to know what was coming next and what they were going to do to combat this thing that happened in the previous episode, and it's just so gripping. I would definitely recommend it to everybody. Okay, on to film. The first one that I am going to tell you about is an oldie but a goodie. So it's on Disney Plus, and it is 10 Things I Hate About You. I love this film, and I dug down his tongue to watch it with me, because he has watched it before, but he couldn't remember it, but obviously he wouldn't have stared watching it, and I love it. I love Heath Ledger, and he is just gorgeous. So I made Tom watch it with me, and it was such a nice night. We just sat and we laughed at things, and it is just such a good movie. Just watch it with anybody. It's essentially about a girl who wants to go out on dates, but she's not allowed to date until her sister does. And then her sister is, I can't remember her name, Julia Stiles, the actress, but the character's name is Kat. But she ends up going out with Heath Ledger. But Heath Ledger first of all got paid to go out with her by the guy who wanted to go out with her sister, so that they could all go out to this party and go to prom and things like this. But then obviously Heath Ledger starts falling in love with her, and then obviously the bit at the end is the whole drama and all of this, and it is just so good. I cannot stress how much you need to watch this if you love like 80s, 90s rom-com-y films, you must watch this. If you haven't already, I don't know how you haven't, but it is on Disney Plus. I did not know it was on there until I saw it the other day, and I was like, how have I not seen this already? I have to watch it right now. But yeah, definitely watch it if you didn't already know it was on there, or if you've never seen it, you have to. Okay, the next 4 are on Amazon Prime. I watched most of these at the start of the month. I haven't watched many on Netflix. Only one of them is on Netflix. But these 4 are all on Amazon Prime. I'm not too sure if they are on Amazon Prime anymore, like as in within the Prime bit, because I watched them at the start of the month, like I said, and it's now the next month. So if they're not, I apologise. But I watched all of these at the start of the month, and the first one, the oldest one that I watched, was The Nice Guys. So this is Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. I really enjoyed this. It was about a police officer and they're both undercover like private detectives, and they're looking for this missing girl, but they're both looking for her for different reasons, and they end up teaming up to find her and like fight off the bad guys. And it is really good. It is not a children's film. Definitely not, because one of the characters within it is like a porn star and all of this, and they go digging within the worlds of parties and all of this to try and find this girl, and there is money and yeah. It is a good like crime drama comedy if you like things with action and mystery and things like that. Okay, sticking with the things that make you think, the next one that I watched was Before I Go to Sleep. I had seen this film before, but I couldn't remember if I'd seen it before until I'd watched it. I had read the book, which I think is why I watched the film the first time, but it has got Nicole Kidman and Colin Firth in it. So it's about a lady who has got amnesia, and she can't remember anything, so she just physically doesn't know who anybody around her is or anything like that. So her husband has got this whole wall of like pictures and things to help her figure out who she is every morning when she wakes up. But then she starts seeing this therapist, and she keeps a video diary so she knows things, if that makes sense. So things that she remembers that she doesn't get told the next day, she can watch and things. And it's a film that makes you start to not trust anybody. So you almost feel like you have her amnesia, if that makes sense, and you're trying to work out her life with her, and you start thinking, oh, is that guy a bad guy, or is that guy a bad guy, or is nobody a bad guy, and this is her life, and she's just having bad thoughts for no reason. And then, is her friend a good guy, or is this guy a bad guy? If that makes sense. Like, you just start doubting everything with her, and then you start doubting you're doubting. It's a really good film if you want to have those like mysteries and start thinking about things. Okay, the next one is Blinded by the Light. This is a really good film because the music, Bruce Springsteen, is just amazing. So the film is about a young Pakistani teenager who is trying to live within he's trying to live his own like teenage life, but his dad is very traditional, and he wants him to like go to work and do these things and get a very like traditional job and have like friends within their community and things like that, whereas he has friends who are not within his community at all. He wants to go parties and things like that and be a teenager, how they are around Luton where he lives, but then someone introduces him to Bruce Springsteen, and he wants to be Bruce Springsteen apparently. But it's so good, the music is so good and fits within the film so well, but it's just such a good film to make you think about how other people live and how other people are treated and things like that. So yeah, it's a great film. It's got so many high points and make you smile, and like it's about family, and you feel so loved by the end. I really enjoyed it. I found it really inspirational in the way that he found himself within the madness of what had overcome him with all of this music and influence, but then actually finding who he physically wanted to be by the end of the film, and getting all of his friends and getting his family to enjoy his life and let him be his own person. Okay, the last one on Amazon Prime is such a good film. It's called The Upside, and it's got Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart in it, and it is such a funny film. It's got obviously like an underlying storyline, but it's essentially about Bryan Cranston, who is paralysed from the neck down, and Kevin Hart, who's just come out of prison and needs a job to get his parole officer off his back, essentially. But then he goes to Bryan Cranston's house thinking that it's a job for a janitor, when actually it's like a carer's job. Like, it's called a life auxiliary, but essentially like a live-in carer, to look after Bryan Cranston. And obviously he's never done anything like that before, and he is just himself in the film, and it is so funny. But essentially they just start to become friends rather than like his carer and a patient. They start to become friends, and he helps him like lighten up and like enjoy his life still, even though he is paralysed from the neck down. There's like the bumps within the way, and they fall out and all of these things, and Kevin Hart's like home life gets bumpy, and then it all works out in the end, and it is such a good uplifting film. I love it. If you're ever feeling down, just watch this film, because it is so uplifting. From when you have the worst possible thing happen to you, to have someone come into your life and just make you feel like you need to live again. It's just so uplifting and inspirational. You can't help but smile within this film. It's so nice. I did cry the first time I watched it. But yeah, I'd definitely say watch it if you like uplifting comedies, and if you like Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is just, he makes this film. Okay, and then the last film that I have watched, and the last thing on this list for this month, is on Netflix, and it is the most like random film that I have chosen to watch. I didn't have this on any list or anything. I just was scrolling through the Netflix original films. That just tells you most of the thing, Netflix original. And just watched the trailer and just fancied watching this. This is such what I would describe as a chick flick. It's called Falling in Love, but in being INN. So it's about a girl who has broke up with her boyfriend, has been made redundant in her job, and she entered a competition online to win a hotel inn thing in Australia. And it's beautiful and everything, all the pictures and things, and she wins it, flies over to Australia, and this inn is just run down, hasn't been in for years, and has been given away by someone's relative because it's been passed down to them. And it's just so good. It's just so good. It's so classic rom-com cheese, in my, like, what I would describe as rom-com cheese, in the way that as soon as you see who's going to be the main character guy, you know what is going to happen by the end of the film. So it's about this girl, she goes to Australia, and then she finds this guy who she doesn't like to start with, but then obviously by the middle of the film he then is helping her fix up this inn to sell. It's just so good. Like, she starts making friends with everybody, and it's so nice and all of this, and you just really want her to succeed. By the end of the film, obviously everything works out, and it's such a nice falling in love film. But I would definitely recommend it to you if you like those sort of rom-com-y films. Just romance and pure American lovey-dovey films. Yeah, definitely watch it if you just want something to pass the time as well. I watched this at 6:30 in the morning. But that is everything. Not too much craziness. Well, I guess there is some craziness within there, but everything was quite samey this month. I like dramas and I like rom-coms. You'll probably find that by the end of like the year, you'll find out what I like. When it gets to December, it'll just pure be Christmas. I love Christmas, it is my favourite time of year. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you guys have been watching this month down in the comments, and let me know if you watch any of these things as well, or if you plan to watch any of these things. Give this a big like if you enjoyed it, and please do subscribe if you haven't already, because I will be doing the same thing at the end of July. Thank you for watching, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye!